Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Stately Office Hours. This is where us, the team at Stately, let you know what we've been working on with Stately and with XState, answer any of your questions, receive your feedback. We would love to hear your feedback. If you've got any for us, you can always let us know at us on Twitter at StatelyAI. You can join our Discord, which is discord.gg/XState. Or you can let us know in the YouTube comments, which we can bring up live in the studio, which is pretty cool. So let's just start off with some quick team intros. I'm Laura Kalberg, and I do design and developer advocacy for Stately. David?
Hey, I'm David, the founder of Stately, creator of XState. I'm always scared to get those two confused, but yeah. And also, I was most recently at React Miami with Gavin and Jenny from our team. So if you saw us, hi again.
And Gavin, for those who may have also seen you at React Miami.
Yeah, hi, I'm Gavin Bowman. One of the mysterious back-end devs at Stately. I'm relatively new, joined February now. So yeah, I'm not new. I'm a little ripe at this point. But yes, I was at React Miami. And I guess I'll just echo David's statement. If I saw you there and you're here now, hi again. There's no way to make that not awkward, David.
I know. It's okay. I thrive in awkwardness.
Finally, Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm a developer advocate at Stately. I wasn't at React Miami, but I'm excited to talk about all the cool conferences we've got coming up. And I did just manage to spill water all down my little mouse and all down my leg. And so I'm just sort of sat in a puddle. So,
oh, if you need to go clear yourself up, you go for it.
Well, I'm good. I'm a pro.
Well, it's good because, first up, we wanted to talk about what you've been up to this week, because I want everyone to see I'm already showing the Reactathon thing. I apologize. I have hay fever. It's addled my brain completely. There we go. You can actually see us now. Big old promo for Reactathon, which is coming up in a week and a bit. So what Matt has been working on this week. So if you go to our playlists on the Stately AI channel, you will be able to see Matt has made a playlist full of tutorials for using XState with React. Matt, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, it's something that we've been wanting to do for ages, and we've been in the process of rewriting all of the docs to do with XState and Stately tools and all that sort of thing. And I just thought this week, okay, let's get something out there, because a lot of the material that we have to do with XState is kind of it's either unofficial, which is fine. Of course, you're free to make your own video tutorials and all that sort of stuff. But some of it is a little bit outdated, or it's really high quality, and it's usually David stuff on front-end masters and that sort of thing. So what we wanted was a beginner's guide to especially using XState with its most common patterns. So right now we've got React out there, and we basically build a to-do list with React, which sounds simple, but actually we go into quite a lot of depth in terms of all the different flows and stuff. And we may even add things onto there as well, to do with spawning, invoking machines. But it's a great way of just picking up the basics, of promise services, of actions, guards, after, always, I think. Yeah, always, we always do. Also do. And yeah, it's a really, really great little guide. If you've just got an hour or so and you just want to pick up React and XState, then go for it.
Yeah, I think you could even do it in little chunks. You could do a day by day, little bite size a day, if you want to get yourself familiar too.
Totally. It's 11 5-minute or so videos where you can just take it at your own pace.
Yeah, and I've gone through them all very thoroughly, and I have to say I think they're excellent and very well explained. So I would highly recommend it to anyone who's a bit shy and a bit nervous about starting out. They are such a great introduction. As Eric says, to-do lists are harder than they seem.
From a man who's making a to-do list in XState right now with centered app. So with all sorts of crazy features. So yeah, Eric knows that particular pain or joy, depending on, I guess it's pretty joyful with XState, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you do a really great job of showing how easy it is to build things with XState. And it's so satisfying seeing the VS Code extension in action as well. Just watching you make all the state charts and then seeing it update in the code. So cool.
So magical.
It really is. And so usually at this point, we would talk about our question of the week that we asked during the week. And what we did ask during the week was, how are you using XState in production? And I'm thinking we're actually going to keep asking that question over the next week or so, because we really want to get your feedback on this. And I think folks have been on holiday for the last couple of weeks, and we want to make sure that we can get as many responses as possible. David, do you want to talk a little bit about why we find this useful information?
Sure, yeah. We want to really get a survey of the landscape of how people are using XState, just because we know it's not just a front end thing. It's not just a React thing. People are using it in many different frameworks and for fun things like chatbots and home automation and even backend workflows. And some of these things are surprising in a good way to us, such as like the usage of XStates to handle workflows in the backend. And so this is really going to guide our roadmap in the future, like just determining what kinds of tools we build for everyone to make XState and, well, the stately tools in general most useful for everyone using XState or even wanting to use XState. So please let us know, and let us know even which companies you're using it at, if you are able to share that information.
Yeah, it would be really great to hear from you. And I skipped completely past the other thing that we wanted to talk about, what we've been working on this week. Aside from Matt's fantastic videos, you've been doing more work towards version 5 of XState, haven't you, David?
Yes, and I was going to share my screen, but my internet connection isn't the best right now, so I'll just talk about it. One of the major PRs we're still working on it's called the explicit spawn PR, and all of this is being done in the open, so you can take a look at some of the progress being made. Last week we talked about what some of the difficulties were in learning XState, and actors were one of those things. So this is our attempt to really improve and solidify the story behind using actors in XState and how actors communicate with each other. So take a look at that PR if you're really curious, but it's going to be one of the major changes coming in version 5.
Very cool. And was there anything else that anyone wanted to talk about that they've been working on this week?
Yeah, we've been having some chats about V5 and kind of like the API especially. So me and David and Mateusz have been talking about it a lot. Really trying to simplify it, trying to take some of the, especially when we've been working on the docs, we've noticed there's like a lot of just terminology, and sometimes there's terminology for things that don't necessarily need terminology. So we're trying to like strip out everything. Someone requested a link to that PR, actually. Could someone post that in the chat while I continue blathering on? Yeah, like this. And so a lot of the API changes we're making are to do with like removing terminology, removing barriers, and just thinking of basically everything as an actor. So you have, an actor at the top. You're not necessarily running a service anymore. You're running an actor at the top level. They spawn other actors which talk back to those actors. And it's a real delicate dance, because it's obviously really complicated stuff. But when you get the mental model and it clicks, it doesn't feel so complicated anymore. So it's about trying to get people into that mental model easier, both through the API and through how we explain it in the docs.
Oh, I love that. 100%. And as a means of echoing that, that feeling of complexity, that hurdle that you have to get over to like really cement your understanding of the actor model. The cool thing is, once you've hit that point, it opens your mind to so many other applications. Like you can just look at other things you've written in the past and kind of cringe a little bit and go, oh no, this would have fixed that. I would have probably been able to do this in a fraction of the code, which is a really good thing. It feels like you've leveled up as a software engineer, I think.
Totally. And understanding kind of what the boundaries of your actors are is really interesting as well. That's especially really interesting in the front end too, because like technically, like the browser could just be a single actor, if your app is particularly simple, and like the actor knows everything about how it communicates. Or you could split it up into little islands. So you have like the sign up form, which is one actor over here, and then the other actor, like the left-hand panel or something, all communicating to each other. And it's just, thinking of it that way makes it a lot easier. And really, it's just a couple of quite simple primitives. You've just got an actor, and it sends events to other actors and receives events back.
That's awesome.
Speaking of which, one of the other things that we're going to be doing more often is making RFCs. So these are well-structured documents describing what changes we're proposing and things like how we teach it, the concepts that are important. And so you could go to github.com/statelyai/RFCs to for that. I'll make a banner real quick to show you all.
I've just posted that in the comments as well.
So right now there is one, and you could just look at the pull requests for them. There's one for the system receptionist and also one for error handling in XState by Mateusz Andrist, which was made back in August of 2021. So, yeah.
This Mateusz, she says that actor is an excellent hammer.
Exactly. Everything is an actor. Everything is a hammer. Everything is a nail. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So,
sorry, I'll just say a few more things about this, which is especially the Andorist's error like PR or the RFC. It's really important that we get good feedback on that, because that's quite a critical change to XState and sort of the way it handles errors. And I know that he's been looking for feedback for a long time. That RFC's been open for a long time, and he's a really, really good writer actually. And so reading the RFCs is kind of really interesting to just see how the pieces all slot in. And essentially the RFC is all about stopping us swallowing errors that we shouldn't be swallowing and diverging a little bit from how SCXML does things, where it sort of implicitly recommends swallowing things, whereas we prefer to source the errors and tell you about them.
So RFC, that stands for request for comment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is exactly what it's designed for. We want your comments.
Please,
well,
thanks.
Maybe we're going to start badgering you on social media to give us some responses to those as well. I think that might be a good way of encouraging people to participate. What I was also going to say, going back to when we were talking about working on the documentation, really helping us with the terminology around things. And I do think it's a really, documenting things is such a good way of understanding how something works, on another level, because it's in fact almost like how you make a state chart for your system. When you start looking at how all of those pieces go together and how you explain how they work together, you start seeing where, I could actually have done that better, or I could have explained that better, or here's a connection I hadn't thought about before. And so it's a really similar process, especially when you have a very cool graph of your documentation, as Matt has created for us.
Yeah, maybe we should demo that at some point. We could do an off-the-cuff demo now, if we fancy it, or maybe in a few minutes, just get myself set up, because we talk about it a lot. And we've been working on the docs super hard over the last couple of weeks, and just really trying to hammer a load of stuff out. Might be cool just to preview them a little bit and show this crazy doc thing.
We really take boxes and arrows to as far as they can go at Stately. That's what we're all about. If you can show something in the form of boxes and arrows, we are going to do it.
Absolutely.
And that actually reminds me of something else with the documentation. We're actually testing small pieces of the documentation right now. And so if you're having any struggles with understanding any concepts in XState or with state machines and state charts, do let us know, because what we want to do is make sure that the documentation can answer those questions that you have. And I know that Matt's already had some discussions with people where they've asked questions and he's come back at them with some of the new documentation to see if it works for them.
Yep, bit of guerrilla testing for the new documentation. It's working really well. So if you want a little sneak preview, then do message us or message us in Discord, and we'll respond to you privately.
Absolutely. Well, whilst you are still setting that up, the impromptu demo, Matt, I shall bring up what I had up earlier that I hadn't realized was still on screen. And this is just to let you know about the events that we are going to be at over the next month. And so we're going to kick off May with Reactathon. And David, you'll be speaking there, yes?
Yes, I'll be speaking. I will be giving a talk called Goodbye Use Effect. And, surprise, surprise, there's no state machine in the title or anything like that. However, state machines still play a role in this. It's all about the use effect hook and how we actually might have been using it wrong, or at least not for its intended purpose all along. So yeah, it's going to be a really fun and interesting talk. We are also going to have a topic table called State Management. So Eric, who's in the chat, Eric Rasmussen, and I are going to be talking at that topic table. So please come say hi to us. We're going to be right next to the Redux table. So it's going to be fun. It's just basically a nice state management area. Also, we are going to have a booth. So if you want to get some exclusive swag from us, please come by and say hi.
And Jenny will be there as well. And Gavin, you'll be there too.
I will. Yes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting anyone and everyone who wants to come out and just say hi to us.
And I believe that if he can make it work, Matthias and Arist will be there too. So that's very exciting for everyone who's wanted to meet a European from the team.
Exciting.
Yeah.
We're a lot more fun than the Americans, that's for sure.
And Retson will be very swiftly followed by a trip to JS Day Canarias. And both you, David, and Jenny are both speaking there, aren't you?
Travel permitting, that's still tentative, but you might see us there.
Oh, well, here's hoping. It did seem like it was quite a rapid trip.
Yes.
And after that, we've got BEJS in Brussels. So, Matt, you're speaking there, am I right?
Yep, that's right. Doing a talk on why you might need state charts, basically, and a reason to use XState, when to reach for it, when you should notice that your tools are being stretched a bit too far.
Oh, fabulous. That sounds like a really interesting talk. So for anyone who is based in Europe, that's a great place to go. Go to the headquarters of Europe, I guess, as well. And then we have Remix Conference from May 24th to 25th. Who's going to be there?
Me.
So, yeah, Matt's going to be there. Gavin's going to be there. I'll be there. Jenny will be there. Yeah, so this one, we aren't giving a talk. We're just a community sponsor, but it's going to be a really great opportunity to just talk to everyone in network.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's going to be great.
It's also an excuse. Every conference is an excuse to finally meet my European teammates.
Absolutely. Still not met any of you in person yet. It's kind of creeping me out.
We're not real, Matt.
No. Especially not you, Gavin.
And everyone's excited to meet you. Eric's excited, Gavin, and
Looking forward to meeting you, Eric.
And so, Matt, have you got something to show us?
Yes, of course. So let the demo bunny rides again. This is what we were talking about before, which is our essentially the graph of all of the bits of knowledge that you need to understand the whole of XState, and state charts in general. Like, there is a lot here, and it's sort of, you can see it's all kind of loosely in this sort of tree view, and it's up here starts with basically the installation and then kind of what is a state chart. And you can see that it's all sort of color coded. And I'm going to show you because there's only like a few of you watching, I'm going to show you a very early preview of basically the docs as they are now. And especially this kind of, all of these sections over on the left-hand side are really what we've been working on and putting our focus in. So all of this stuff, it's intended to be something you can see, that you can read through from top to bottom and understand pretty much everything you need to know about state charts. The current docs are a little bit scattershot. They're not really as structured as they could be. And we've basically been using this. So for instance, like actions and context, let me see. Yeah, like all of this stuff, like all of these, we've like split it up into little pieces, which we then reference in this enormous graph. And it's color coded based on where it appears in the menu here. And so you can see like there's all of these different paths that you can go down to sort of like understand different bits. So we understand that, like, if I zoom in properly, like here, for instance, so to understand guards, you sort of need to understand that you can have events and context appear in actions. To understand that, you need to understand context. You need to understand what actions do. You need to understand the options API. You need to sort of get understanding of what sort of options you can pass. And it all leads back to the top there. Again, with our tools as well. So like the Stately editor, this is going to be a lot more integrated into the new docs, and the visualizer is too. VS Code extension is too. And everything here is like really carefully planned out so that you never encounter information that you're not ready for, especially if you're reading everything in order, which is like a crazy cool constraint for us and really has, I think, been super useful, right, Laura?
Oh, it's been so incredibly useful because it means that we can go, right, can we assume that somebody knows, what do they know by the time they get to this module or this stage in the graph? And then we don't have to explain everything over and over again. We can, of course, refer to it and send you back to the information if you haven't read that page yet. But it allows us to just get straight into the good detail, the stuff that you actually just need to know about all of those different sections. And I think we've been doing a great job of making it very consistent and concise as well. There's a lot of good examples in there too to help you get going so that you can actually see how things work.
Exactly. And like, we're really proud of like, you know, all of this sort of running machines stuff so that you're going to get kind of an understanding of how to run it in React, how to run it in Node, and like see all of the different ways that you can run XState and where it can go. Like all of the different stuff is taught, it feels like, at the right time. Like, it's surprising, actually. What I found surprising was how late you can teach things like hierarchical states and final states and still have everything make sense. You know, it's amazing how you can get pretty far without knowing a lot of information. And like, even if you get to just sort of a quarter of this graph, you're still going to be really productive with XState. So it's been really cool structuring it this way for sure. The colors, Cedric, what they mean on the chart is they correspond to different groupings, basically. So this sort of light green here, this is like the context and actions section, which corresponds to this section. So you've got the actions, context, you've got some of the built-in actions like assign, send pure, how to assign context with TypeScript, and like the rules with built-in actions, all that different stuff. So again, like the hierarchical states, and we call this like the deep dive into states section. All of this stuff is co-located, and it's, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is really interesting going through and looking at how some of them are just single strands and some of them just kind of explode in loads of different interconnected parts. But it does really help us know how to explain things well. And
For sure.
yeah, we've made a huge amount of progress too. So I think it's been a great way of helping us get through it quite quickly as well.
Totally.
Now, is there anything else that we wanted to talk about this week?
I've just started doing something fun on Twitter, which is I've decided to open up a few slots, kind of like a couple every week, where you can book me for a one-to-one session to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So it could be TypeScript, it could be XState, all that sort of stuff. My condition is, could you please make a donation to charity in order to make the booking? So UNICEF is my charity of choice, and feel free to, you can see on my Twitter, which is at mpocock1. So please book time with me. Let's yeah, I don't know. It feels like something that would be really nice to do. I was a one-to-one teacher for a long time. I taught singing and voice, and I'm really excited to get back to that and actually talk about coding instead.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be able to learn a lot to feed back into what we're building as well from the people that you're working with.
It's a good opportunity to get all of your XState and TypeScript questions answered.
Exactly.
Great. Well, then I think we've had another nice short and sweet, or not too short, very sweet. Office hours, that's what it's called. God, this hay fever. So I think we will wrap it up for this week. God, really, hopefully I need to go put some more medication in myself, I think. But it was lovely having you all here. Thank you for your fantastic feedback and joining us in the comments. And remember, if you want to ask us any questions that you want us to answer in next week's office hours, you can ask us on our office hours channel on Discord, at Stately AI on Twitter. I think we are Stately on LinkedIn, if you happen to be around there. Or in the YouTube comments, and we will find them and make sure we answer them for you. Or if you have any feedback, it doesn't even have to be a question. We would love to hear from you. So on that note, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.